Coach, what are key takeaways from this race that you can use to set goals for future races?
Well, that's really the key for today, is that we're just looking at kind of the big picture stuff. I thought, for the most part, people looked strong. I think we're not looking as sharp as some teams, but that's expected. We really aim to progress through the season, so I always get a little nervous if we look too sharp at this point. That having been said, I think the front runners did a nice job. Mason and Wes were up, in contention. Even though it's a short course. And then Kate O'Neill did a very nice job mixing it up with some really heavy hitters from UVA and Georgetown and some of the front runners from the A10. So by and large, I think it was a positive day. Again, that's one of the things we always emphasize with the kids, though, that you don't get too high, don't get too low, right? This is just a first meet. We've got 8 weeks to go before the championships, and we take away from it what it's good for, and we move forward regardless of whether it was good, bad, or somewhere in the middle.
Any adjustments to the race strategy for upcoming competitions?
Well, honestly, 4K and 6K have a lot less to do with 6K and 8K than you might think. I think most people on the outside think, oh, well, it's a distance run, so it's all pretty much the same. But those last couple of kilometers make a big difference on both sides, and you can see that. Some of the shorter distance athletes, some of the middle distance athletes that are a little sharper, really were able to shine today. And we play the long game. We get ready for the longer distances at the championship portion of the season. So that's one of the reasons why we don't look super sharp at this point, and that's to be expected.
All right, Mason, how do you feel about your performance in this season's first meet?
I feel pretty good. I felt really good through 4.5, 5K. I had a kick, but just not quite enough to pull out the dub.
All right, and what improvements do you think need to be done?
Well, throughout the season, we work on closing speed, tempo speed, so we'll get to where we need to be when the time comes and when it matters for the A10 race, for regionals, for nationals. So,
how do you feel about your performance in the season's first meet today?
Yeah, I'm super happy with it. No expectations. Had a fairly decent summer of training and just wanted to go out and give it my all.
And what was your motivation to stay in the front in today's race?
I don't know. I guess I just thought there's nothing to lose. Go out hard. I know I don't have a huge kick, so just thought hang on as long as I can.
All right, Coach Tony, what were your observations during this race?
The observations that I take away from this race are how people get ready, what the race day rhythm is like for people. For people who haven't raced in 10 months, whether you're returners or freshmen, kind of how warm-ups go, how bus riding goes, what race lead up goes to. This race is also a really good place to be for the culmination of summer training and a little bit of a flip switch into the next part of the season. So yeah, I just wanted to see how people are grouping up, how people get out. It's a short distance, so there's plenty of information to gather, but just those first race feelings and how those rhythms will go.
How does this race fit into the overall season and the team's goals for the year?
Yeah, the first race, you just kind of gather as much information as possible, but you have the most amount of time for the season. So it's in that natural position of just being the first one and start to get a feel for how things have been going for this type of training over the summer, and then how things might look as we switch over into the middle of the season. But for the most part, it's all good information, whether it was a perfect race or not so perfect race. We're getting a lot of good information useful to take into each next step.